Welcome to Nintendo Voice Chat episode 421, live from Germany at Gamescom 2018. Today I'm joined by Tina Amini.
Hello.
Sydney Goodman.
What up?
And over there in actual German,
Good morning, Zach.
Per Schneider. Guys, we're here to talk about Nintendo, but first I wanted to ask the question that's on everybody's mind at a show like this. How's your Gamescom?
It's pretty good.
Yeah?
Played some Nintendo.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Sydney?
nice for you. I haven't been playing anything. Actually, that's not a. I brought my Switch. I've been playing my Switch. So I haven't played any game
Oh,
demos.
you haven't played anything? What are you doing here? I invited you for a reason.
It's been pretty chill so far. I mean, the halls were only filled with journalists and investors and stuff. Now the doors are open to the public.
Right.
So now you have to recreate that scene from Crocodile Dundee where you walk over heads to get to anything.
Does that work?
Wait times used to be Smash Brothers used to be like 15 minutes, are now going to be like 6 hours.
Yeah, we went
Oh,
down
good.
yesterday during the press day to play some stuff, and our wait times are pretty minimal.
quick. Yeah,
but I
we
imagine
raced
it's a
it.
nightmare today. This is my first.
be
This is
bad.
my first year at Gamescom where I've actually had an opportunity to go to the show floor. This is my third year, but I've never gone to the floor before, and I was kind of surprised to see just how huge this game is. You know, they bill it as like the biggest gaming convention
And
in the
it
world,
is.
for good reason, right?
There'll be
Like-
multi-hour lines for Splatoon 2, which is available on your Switch right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
that happens at PAX
if you
83
want the
too.
real Gamescom experience, you heard it here first. Play Splatoon 2 as soon as you can. Just run right out there and do it. Guys, a lot of Nintendo news coming out of Gamescom. And Nintendo news that's not coming out of Gamescom. Some stuff we heard just sort of outside the cycle of the show. I did want to cover off on some new stuff before we got into the games that we've been playing here at the show. First and foremost, I wrote it here in my notes. Friggin' Grandia is coming to Switch.
Isn't that great? Grandia
Yeah.
1 and 2,
Yeah.
both coming to Switch.
Now, if you guys don't know Grandia, that's Game Arts, the guys behind Lunar and Sylphied, published by Gung Ho. They've been getting into a lot of these like sort of remaster publishers and stuff. And this is Grandia 1 and Grandia HD Remake, Grandia
Yep.
2 HD Remake. And I love these games. Like the original one for PlayStation, beautiful sprite work, really cool, like classic JRPG. And then Grandia 2 for the Dreamcast. That's my jam. So
we've known about this for a while. We weren't allowed to talk about it, but
what? You're telling me journalists know about stuff before it happens?
What's happening now? I think the Vita obviously is not a vibrant platform in Japan anymore, and the Switch is sliding in, and it's becoming the RPG machine.
Right.
At the same time, like Famitsu had a report on Langrisser, the
Yeah.
classic Mega Drive, Genesis games, also coming now out to Switch in full remakes. So I think you're going to see a lot of bygone JRPGs making the transition to Switch, which is awesome.
Not only that, but a
Yeah.
lot of like the niche RPGs that were showing up on Dreamcast, PSP, and Vita, like things from Atlas
Yep.
or Game Arts, like things like that. So that's really exciting that we get these like really niche sort of RPGs coming to Switch.
So
I think
here's
that's
hoping
cool.
for Ogre Battle, of course.
Oh God, Tactics
Atlas.
Ogre. What if they brought Let Us Cling Together?
I want 64.
Really?
Give me Ogre Battle
Over Tactics
64.
Ogre?
Yes.
Not a
Every day.
You're not a Matsuno fan?
No, it's good.
Write it down.
There's still 2 days left to Gamescom.
That's
you
right.
might have your chance.
Come on, Atlas, get with it. I want it.
Okay, so next up on the list, we heard that Telltale's bringing the entire Walking Dead series over to Switch. First season is dropping on the 28th. That includes 400 days. And it's coming out for $24.99, which I think is a little bit steep. Tina, you and I were talking about this a little bit last night.
Yeah, I mean, they're such bite-sized seasons, but at the same time, I guess at season 4, and considering that I imagine, would that include season 4? No, it doesn't. Does
No.
it? Then,
No. It's seasons.
I
So-
take it all back. It's
Wait, so
definitely
is that
too pricey.
price just for the first season?
Yeah, $24.99 just for season 1,
I
and then
thought-
seasons 2 and 3 drop later this year. So.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought
that's
you were saying
pretty steep.
$25 or $24.99 for all
Everything.
of them. I was
No.
gonna say,
Yeah,
how
then that would be
cheap
fine.
did you want it to
Because
be?
they're about like every episode is about 2 hours long, I would say, if I
Yeah.
recall correctly. And this first season was excellent, but that's not even it's so old at this point. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you can get the entire first season for much cheaper on other platforms. So $24.99
Yeah.
kind of feels steep to me. I don't know. What do you think?
But I am in. Sorry, you just.
No,
That's
go
okay.
ahead.
I just pointed in that general
Yeah.
direction. So you
You
guys
count as one
Oh,
human
you,
now.
You
Both
guys
of
are
us.
all the way
Just, like,
over there on that
morphed
side of the
into one
stage.
Yeah.
Take the ball, run with it. Yeah.
I was gonna say because I played the first season and then I just never had time to keep playing, and I'm really into playing it on a mobile platform.
Same. So I
Yeah.
played the first season on my iPhone way back when that was like a novelty, and now it's kind of nice to think, okay, this is a perfect excuse for me to go back through seasons 2 and 3. Now,
Well,
a question to
especially-
the panel before we go too much further: will I actually go back and play seasons 2 and 3?
Never.
I think you could totally pass on it and be
No,
fine.
Pierre's right. I absolutely won't.
It's not going to happen. I mean, just you've been away from your Switch. You've been working very hard here. You've
Thank
been
you.
away from your Switch for like a week. and about 20 games have dropped.
I've played all
Like,
those games, actually.
You,
so.
you have not?
Me and Brian Altano.
Nope,
Yeah.
not true.
It's a good
But,
point, though, especially because it's on Switch and there's so many other things to play. Why would you? Especially you could just do like a
Yeah.
little recap online and be fine.
But if you're a fan of good comics, and Walking Dead season 1 was really, really cool. It
Yeah.
kind of defined the new adventure genre. Kind of like the resurgence of like the point and click adventure style. But yeah, we'll see what the market will bear. Like a lot of these games are coming back at very high prices. We talked about Diablo being full price too,
Right.
and that's a game from what, like 2011?
Yeah.
I think
Or,
it was
you know,
2012, I think.
2012, yeah.
It's been a while, and so we'll see if Switch owners will pony up the big dollars, or if it's going to push down the prices over time.
Yeah.
I guess if they want to have all of their decisions carry over into season 4 and play on Switch,
Yeah.
you got to pay the
Gotta
price
play-
for
you
that.
gotta
Your
Yeah.
Switch will
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, your Switch will
Exactly.
Give me the Wolf Among Us on Switch, and I'm all there. Yeah, the Wolf Among Us, Tales from the Borderlands. Like, I'm interested in some of those Telltale series more so than The Walking Dead because, like I said, I did fall off.
I think they'll all come. I mean, once they've got the engine running, I think it's very easy for them to port. It's just about whether there's demand for them.
Sure. Well, apparently they're bringing the first 3 no questions asked, so I guess they see that the demand is possibly there.
Yep.
So, right on. Moving along, this one's really quick. Luigi's Mansion gets a release date. That's October 12th in North America and October 19th in Europe.
3DS though.
Right.
Yes.
That's true. It's coming to 3DS. This is the original Luigi's Mansion for GameCube, coming to the 3DS just in time for Halloween.
Yeah.
You got to get spooky in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you play it on the GameCube originally, Luigi?
I had it. It wasn't like a favorite of mine.
Really?
It was
like
tough. It was
I
tough to,
cycled
like-
through it, Like
Yeah.
I think my brother bought it or got it for like whatever he got it for, and I would play it, and I was just kind of like, I could also be playing something different.
So I liked it, but it was a fast, kind of small experience. I'm actually looking forward to playing it again on the 3DS. I love that Nintendo keeps the platform alive, even if it's via ports like Captain Toad or this. And then we'll get our WarioWare games, of course, in
Sure.
between.
Yeah.
I think it's good that it's coming out.
I loved Dark Moon. I think Dark Moon is a much better game,
Much
like
bigger
a more
game, yeah.
realized version of this game.
Yeah.
So it almost seems like a step back to me that they're bringing Luigi's Mansion to the 3DS. But then again, we talked about last week's episode. The 3DS definitely has legs. There's still stuff coming out through 2019. So we know that Nintendo has a plan to support this platform. And even if it's in the form of like, how many people owning a 3DS missed this game when it came to GameCube?
Everybody.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
How
seriously.
long ago? What was
And-
that? 30 years ago that it
Yes,
came to GameCube?
330 years ago. But it's also it's a shorter game, so I think if they put it on Switch, some people would be disappointed if they compared it with the average length of a Mario game or even Captain Toad or some of the games like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's good for 3DS.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly travel with both my Switch and my 3DS. I
Oh, you're one of
I
those.
always bring my 3DS, but I also play all of my Pokemon. I play Pokemon when I travel.
Okay.
So I always have my
Exclusively
3DS.
when you travel? Only when you're on
I
the road?
always play at least one Pokemon game when I travel.
What's your Gamescom Pokemon game?
It is Pokemon Yellow right now.
That's
Yep.
a good one. Did you get the Pikachu surf mission?
Not
The
yet.
mini game?
No, no.
Oh, that's my fave.
You'll get a remake of
You
that
ever-
soon,
you ever
so
play that
you
one?
don't have to bring your 3DS.
I know, but I probably still will.
Gotta get the
Purist,
Street
that's
Pass,
good.
right?
I'm purist, yeah.
Okay, another announcement. Speaking of older games coming to newer systems, Saints Row the Third got announced in the Gamescom keynote. Now, here, Saints Row the Third coming to Switch. In my notes, you guys will notice I wrote, what the swear word? I put a bad word in there. Yeah,
Well,
because,
it's very on brand with Saints Row, so thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this is a real non sequitur, right? This kind of came out of left field. So they're being very nebulous. They say it's next year, so sometime.
It takes a long time to port that game.
Right, and
It's a big game.
I guess more so than talking about like Saints Row coming for the Switch, which is fine, whatever, great. That's a weird superhero style game, right?
It's fun. I mean,
great
it's a good game, yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like it's a bit of an odd choice, but I guess what I really want to talk about is like when we said earlier this year, all year since the Switch launched, when we said everything for the Switch, is this what we meant? Like,
Literally everything.
like I'm curious. Like, yeah, literally everything, because this is great. This is an awesome opportunity for players that potentially miss these games, on previous platforms. But like, to your point, there are 30 games for the Switch that I haven't even looked at this week. Saints Row, Telltale, really?
I mean, it's like building a third-party virtual console at this point. Like, I got no problem with that, but with Saints Row, why wouldn't you go to the last game at least?
Right.
Like something that's
because
a little
Saints Row the
fresher.
Third was a much better game.
Huh?
Saints Row the Third was a much better game.
Oh, that's
Better
the
than
one
Saints
that
Row
you want.
4?
Yeah, absolutely.
So your
I-
team Saints Row 3
Yes,
then?
exactly. So as far as options go, this was the right one. This was the right call. But at the same time, I guess I wasn't there when you guys were talking about everything for the Switch. But I have said that on my own account.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I
Yeah.
didn't mean just
Yeah.
Wii.
Right.
I meant the royal Wii.
Exclusionary.
Yeah, like
We did
everyone.
not. We did
But
not uninvite you.
Yeah, I think I prefer like every game that comes out to come out on Switch, just because I like
I
the
do too.
accessibility of it. Yeah.
Yeah, just
So
then
every
you have
new
the
game.
option.
Even all
Yeah.
the
Just
cookie
give
clicker
me all the
games that you
options.
always play when I
Yeah.
see you at your desk. And
Little
you're, like, just
Alchemist.
clicking. What
Yeah,
is
I
it?
want that on Switch.
Little Alchemist.
I don't play that anymore, Per.
You heard it here first. Little Alchemist for Switch. Whatever that means. Nobody knows.
Everything on Switch.
You combine elements and it makes new forms, whatever.
Oh,
don't,
that's cute.
don't.
Now,
It's fine, don't worry about it.
we've been talking a lot about older games coming to Switch, but we're at Gamescom 2018, the home of the newest games for the summertime in Europe.
It's
Right?
hot here.
That's quite the qualifier. Okay.
Thank
yeah,
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wanted to, I wanted to lend
Yeah.
this
The
very
best
special,
games
right? Yeah.
in the street, depending on
In
the streets. Yes.
Let's talk about the games that we've been
It's a good
playing at
reference.
Gamescom, the games that we're really enjoying. And if I may, I'd like to kick it off. You mentioned this one earlier. One of the games that I've fallen in love with over the course of Gamescom this year is Devolver's The Messenger. It's published by Devolver, but it's coming to us from Sabotage. This is a super, super cool action platformer in the vein of Ninja Gaiden. In the first run through. So it starts off in this kind of like 8-bit style, but as you progress further through the game, narratively, you basically switch back and forth between like an 8-bit and 16-bit style, and the paths are different depending on the art style. And so it becomes this, what starts as a very like rudimentary Ninja Gaiden clone, becomes this sort of Metroidvania the further into it that you get. And there's this beautiful sprite work. It's super hard, like really, really fun. I dig it. Per, have you had an opportunity to
I
play
haven't
it?
been able to play it yet, but
Yeah.
I've seen lots of footage of this game, and you and Brian have been talking my ear off about
Yeah.
it. It looks really cool. Full disclosure, I was not the biggest Ninja Gaiden fan. I don't know why that franchise had never clicked with me. Unlike Castlevania or any of the other kind of like 8 and 16-bit classics, but it looks really cool to me. So it's going to be, there you go. We've got,
cool.
yeah, if you're just listening to this, we've
Hello,
got,
everybody.
Damon-
I'm wearing a T-shirt for the video game, The Messenger.
there you
Damon
go.
just came in wearing
you
a
go.
Messenger T-shirt, which I'm very jealous of. This is
That
actually
is a really sick T-shirt. Where'd
that's
you get
nice.
If
that?
you guys know
There
Nina
you go.
Matsumoto, she's an artist that does like a bunch of artwork for. Is this Fandom? Is this a,
Yeah.
yeah? So she does a bunch of Fandom artwork. She's done some stuff for Shovel Knight, I think. Super cool. I feel like this just turned into an episode of QVC.
Yeah.
Walking around here. So order now.
You get Damon for free.
That's right.
Come with the
Everybody
shirt,
gets to the. Nobody can hear you.
The first 10 orders. Okay.
Get out of here. Yeah, we run a-
Damon Hatfield, no sleep, Damon Hatfield. Thank you, thank you.
we run a tight ship up here, you know. So anyway, this game's coming out really soon, right around the corner, August 30th release date, $20. I'm gonna go ahead and give it
10 out of 10?
3 wheels of cheese out of 4 because
Okay.
I haven't gotten all the way through it, but I really love it, and I think that you should purchase when it comes out.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll definitely play.
yeah. Tina,
Really
is this Parrot mentioned this earlier and said that this would look like an mini game. Is this the
Oh,
kind of game
really?
that you'd get into?
You said
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
I'm
like
surprised.
literally right before we started.
Maybe.
Well, Tina beats
I
us in
get
all the
very
games
There
that
you
we
go.
play
A
against her,
ringing
so.
ringing endorsement, maybe.
Yeah.
I would. I get very impatient with anything involving platforming, but
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of the
Sounds
same way,
great
actually.
otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually got to talk to them at PAX East and play it a little bit. I'm very bad.
Okay.
Not good at all.
Yeah.
So
Like in terms of the game or
In
just in
term-
general?
everything.
Okay.
It was awful. The whole
Sydney
thing.
Goodman, very bad.
Just
Yeah.
very bad.
Sydney Badman.
There you go.
There it
Play
is.
on words. But yeah, it looks beautiful and I like the concept of it. But as far as patience in platformers go and my lack of skill in platformers, it's just not really a good mix.
Well, you
Aw,
have the
man.
64-bit generation, I feel like, right? Like you
Yeah,
came
yeah.
up when platformers were sort of not necessarily as in vogue as they are now. So
Totally.
That makes sense that your thumbs wouldn't be up to speed in terms
They're
of.
not.
Right. We also got to play, speaking of getting your thumbs up to speed, Super Mario Party.
more like your wrists.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah?
it is
Yeah.
more like your wrist. I'm bummed to say that those of you watching this episode, we don't have a ton of B-roll of the actual game or the mini games. We just got these young hipsters here playing this this game in this trailer.
And we
but
didn't even actually see this
No, we
dual
didn't see any
screen
of these.
situation.
I
But-
was just going to ask about that.
yeah, they're still not showing that off. You know,
No.
we saw it behind closed doors at E3 and then immediately leaked that footage, which wasn't cool. But we fixed that. But we did see it in action, but we haven't necessarily gotten any hands on at any other events. I think it would be hard to show the dual screen kind of functionality in a live environment.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously had it in their trailers, but what we did get to try out was a kind of like a five mini game run where we got to play against each other, and I think Tina beat us and everything.
Tina did come in #1. We did play this game, this cooking game.
I think this is the one that they show off in the trailer that we
Yeah.
actually played.
So you have a pan,
Right.
That's
and you
one
flip
too.
it.
Yeah.
You
Right.
like try to cook a piece of meat, a little
What,
cube
was it
steak.
pork? Yeah, what was
It
it?
looked
Cube
like
steak.
it looked like a steak, cube steak,
Yeah.
just lightly seasoned.
A cow cut into a
Sear it.
cube.
Well,
Yeah.
see, that's the trick. If you want to get it faster, you just sear it, and then you're
Okay,
fine.
you give
So
it
you
one
sear it
of
from
these.
every
Still,
side, and
yeah.
you have to use the Joy-Con like holding it like the handle of
Yeah.
a pan by flipping it. And
Right.
you can kind of flip it sideways. It actually feels really natural. They did a really nice job with it.
The flipping sideways was really difficult for me. I found that if I just let the meat itself rotate, because it would on the natural oil or whatever was happening on
Yeah.
the
Right,
pan,
right,
I'm
right.
overthinking this completely.
Cooking with
but
Tina.
when you just exactly when you flip it just delicately, it'll just as you
Yeah.
see that little red piece
Can you
right
show
in
us
front of
again?
you.
Can you show us again?
Just a little flip.
Got it.
Yeah. Just a little.
Yeah, I felt like as Master Chef myself, I felt like I excelled in this this particular mini game because it did feel
That's
like
funny because you did lose.
I got second place. I beat you, so
That's funny because
That's
I
right.
really lost.
I think
Yeah.
Yoshi even beat you. Who
Yeah,
was
even
our
the computer
our
beat Pear.
mysterious
But I
player.
was impressed with the way, again, the haptic feedback, the sort of HD rumble functionality of the Joy-Con is
really nice.
Really on display here, like really great functionality in the way that Tina's right, like flipping it like really hard, you could throw that little steak cube out of the pan, which automatically results in
I
like
did.
another one dropping, and you have to
went
start all the way over.
I did
But-
Benihana's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if you
You tried some, like,
you
power
tried to flip it
moves.
over to like
Yeah.
a shy
Yeah,
guy.
like here you go.
But I think like the subtle flipping of all 6 sides, that was probably my favorite mini game of the bunch.
There were a bunch. Like one was like just running around, running away
Yeah,
from the
so
little
actually I
punchy
wrote it all down
goes.
here. So the next one we played was a block runner, where it was kind of a horizontal side scroller, and all 4 of us were running away from like a group of, I believe it was Booze wearing boxing gloves.
Yeah.
And there's all these blocks in the way, and so you have to kind of wind-
Boxbolde in German.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to kind of wind your way around each of these blocks, and then whoever gets caught by the Booze.
Yep.
It's basically like outrun. You just run people. Yeah.
It was
And I
like
guess
it was
it's
like
a never-ending level too. Like
yeah.
whoever
Well, they
just
do
ru-
catch up
lasts
more
the
and more,
last.
so there's an end to it. Like there is a
forcing
limit
it
on
in,
it, but
yeah.
it was like the simplest kind of Mario Party challenges, going all the way back to the beginning. There wasn't a lot to it.
I felt like because I stuck to the top level, and you rotated between the two of us. And Pear, I think you were the bottom level mostly.
Yeah.
And I felt like my level barely had any blocks in the way.
Yeah. No, the
There
game
were so
definitely
many times
cheated
where
in
it
your
was
favor,
empty.
which
Yeah.
is why you won.
That's why
I was trying to chop it
shouldn't
up.
have given you that.
Moving between the top and the bottom levels, I didn't have obstacles. So
Yeah.
there were several runs where, based on the level, I was able to speed through it. That's why I came in first in that one. So
Maybe we needed to like punch each other out of the way more and troll each other. Maybe that
if
was
we
the
had
point.
if
we were
we
too
had
friendly.
if we had played the game the way that the people in the trailers play Mario
Right.
Party, just really
like,
getting in
bumping
there,
into each
yeah,
other.
it
Yeah.
might have been like a full contact sport. So
Well, there was like the tricycle pedaling where you had to take the Joy-Con, hold it sideways, and go like this. I always hate those.
Yeah.
So
but it's like you got to go
I
like
could
this,
tell
and
it
that makes
immediately
you
when
pedal.
we started that you and I knew how to do it. But
Right.
Pear, you were going you were rotating to too much
it
of a
was-
degree
I
of
was-
a radius.
Pear was trying to ride the tricycle like he rides his bike, like out on a
Yeah.
Sunday stroll.
You have to do
he's
like
got
a
this.
I was
tight
doing the
radius.
real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pear's
We have
out there
very
on his
big
beach cruiser.
tricycles here. in
Yeah,
Germany,
just
so-
lounging.
Just
Like
taking
why
in the
why
scenery.
competition?
Meanwhile, you and I were out aiming
Look,
to
it's
win
been
it.
at least 40 years longer that I've been on a tricycle than any of you guys.
I don't think I've ever been on a tricycle.
Tricycle is not my favorite one. I thought it was fine.
It's bad.
We played
I
another
felt like I
one
was
with.
winding up a toy or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kinda
We
weird.
played another one with where you dodged a bunch of football players.
That was fun.
Yeah,
the
so
little bull
four-
guys running
the
through.
four of us
from
were in
Mario
a
World.
sort of a pit, and then who are those guys called?
Bull, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were coming in from all angles, and you have to kind of dodge out of the way. That was fun. I liked that one.
Yeah.
That was
That one
pretty
got
good.
hectic fast.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
So did
And-
you guys only play mini games?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
only
yeah,
they only
that's-
let you
yeah.
do like a selection of
I mean,
5
that
mini
makes
games,
sense,
and then we wanted to do more, but they're like, oh, next people.
Yeah, that's another thing about being IGN at Gamescom. It's like IGN at Gamescom is not the same thing as IGN at E3. You know what I mean?
It's like normal humans. It teaches you some humility.
In fact,
It's
I
good.
said something that I will forever regret to Pear yesterday because I know that it's going to come back to haunt me. We were waiting in line to play Super Mario Party, and I said, man, I don't remember the last time I waited in line to play a demo. And Pear said, oh, I don't know. Oh, I broke a nail.
It was a really good impression though.
Yeah, he did.
be fair.
It was really spot on.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Super Mario Party is out October 5th, so not too long a wait there.
Looks good though. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
It's been a long
Yeah.
time since I was excited for a
Yep.
Mario Party, and I think the sort of ubiquity of the Switch
Yeah.
lends itself to busting out a couple of levels in the office. Like I'm into it. I'll definitely be there day one.
good.
You
Yeah.
forgot the 5th minigame.
Barrel rolling, which sucked the most.
Yeah.
So you stood on top of a barrel and you had to tilt your Joy-Con forward and steer. It was awful.
Well, forward was for speed.
It worked
And
pretty
then you
well.
could do
I like that
backwards to
one.
slow it down. That was actually the one that I was bumping you a lot. So that's
Yeah.
the one that we were kind of trolling each
We
other
were
on.
very competitive. You
Yeah.
have to
So get on my
you have to
whip
find these little F-Zero like speed arrows on the ground
Yeah.
and get a little boost.
Boosters,
You
yeah.
decided to not take those, instead
Yeah.
go into the grass
Interesting
or the water.
strategy.
I was convinced that my Joy-Con wasn't working.
Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah,
Well,
I was
because-
getting very frustrated.
Yeah, that's why we told you had to tilt it forward. It's
I
acceleration.
was tilting it.
No.
I understand physics. I got how it worked. It just wasn't working that well for me, and I hate to lose. So I was being a little crybaby
Yeah.
about
So
it.
we'll have a rematch once we get the game. We'll
Yeah.
play a little bit and we'll explain the controls to you again.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You
I
guys can show
appreciate
me
that.
how
And
to
there's
pedal
a
a
tutorial
tricycle.
mode in the beginning
Yeah.
of every minigame, but we'll still, give you a freebie round.
And we'll capture some of these games and put them out there so people can see what we're
Awesome.
talking about. So it's not just us, sitting up here describing Joy-Cons with.
Sorry,
With, like,
you didn't-
awkward hand
Sorry you didn't get
motions.
to play it yet,
It's
but
okay.
maybe you can
Yeah.
have
I
the show
love
floor
Mario
today.
Party, so I'm very
So
excited.
I guess that's a good question for you. Like, I'm sort of a lapsed Mario Party player. I was a Mario Party guy on Nintendo 64 when you would burn holes in the palms of your hands spinning the.
Doing the-
Are you ready? Are you ready for Mario Party again, or have
Oh,
you
yeah.
played all of them? Is that something
so
you've kept
I
up with?
played up to 6.
Okay.
And I still have a GameCube, so anytime we have people over, we play 4 usually.
Oh, good. Four's a good one.
4 is a good one. I like the dungeon duos
Yeah.
minigame. That's my favorite minigame probably of all time. Other than the Lick-a-Tongue one in Pokemon Stadium.
What was the puzzle
really good.
game called? They had a really good kind of Tetris-like puzzle game.
Pokemon Puzzle League.
No, but it was awesome. It was like, it could have been a standalone.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I would agree. I'm kind of relapsed, but I'm always ready for a good Mario Party game.
Bring
I'm
it
into
back.
it. Yeah.
Mario Party also, for our listeners 21 and over, great drinking game. Killer drinking
is.
game to play Mario
Absolutely
Party.
true.
We're in
The first
Germany.
one-
It's not 21 and over.
What is it,
16
19
for
here?
beer.
I think it's 16. Yeah, I was gonna say. I
Why
think
are
it's
you so
16.
surprised?
Bunch
Only
of
for
party
beer.
animals out here.
We
All
can't
right.
drive until we're 18, though.
That's weird.
Well, you just get drunk first, and then you're sober. You can drive a car.
You learn
Get it out of your system.
You guys got
you
it
learn
backwards.
how much you get influenced before you get into a car.
That's right.
Safer.
You know what is similar to driving a car? Driving a spaceship.
Good segue.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. I finally got an opportunity to play Starlink yesterday, and I'll be the first to say it here. I freaking love Starlink. I think it is awesome. I had a blast playing it.
First
Were
bullet
you-
point. Zach is a believer.
That's
Were
true.
you on it before, after seeing it at E3?
I wasn't
Okay.
on it before. I
Yeah?
just hadn't had an opportunity to play it. And playing it yesterday to me felt like the spiritual successor to Star Fox, or
Really?
the Star Fox game that I've wanted for a really long time. Like, it's nice that Star Fox is in here for Nintendo Switch.
Yep.
But
So you didn't play as Star Fox.
I did not play as Star Fox. I chose one of the other characters. She was a drummer and had like a cool rhythm mini game to do like an area attack. It was
Yeah.
very fun. But this game to me feels like what Star Fox should have been on Wii U. The scale, the sense of speed, the ability to navigate planets in a full circumference, I think
Yeah.
is really cool.
A little bit more ground bound, like a
and I
little bit
love-
more
I love the
strafey,
ability
right?
that, I love the ability that this game gives you, where if you hold the right button on a planet while you're on a planet, you basically magnetize yourself to the ground. So it takes you out of the sky and brings you closer to the ground and keeps you low. So when you're fighting some of the bigger bosses, like my demo ended in this giant sort of spider boss. So when you fight that boss, you stay low and it's much easier to strafe, and it almost feels like a third-person shooter. And then you can bounce back up,
Yep.
get back into the sky, go to your next objective. And otherwise, it's very technically impressive.
Yep.
I think it sort of looks it doesn't look awesome.
It looks dithered. Like
Yeah.
it has. Yeah.
The textures are a little bit muddy. There's a lot of pop in, but the idea that you can totally No Man's Sky this thing and go from the planet's surface all the way out into orbit. There's 6 planets to explore seamlessly. I think is really, really cool. Really impressive.
Yeah. I think at this point, when Ubisoft first show Rabbids, for example, everybody's like, is this going to be good?
Right.
I think the same reaction with this game where people said, Toys to Life game now after
Yeah.
everybody's shutting down their
Well,
lines.
that's
What
the
is
thing.
this?
Like,
Yeah.
I think its initial conception
Yeah.
as a game, they may have led with the wrong foot because its initial conception did seem like just a Toys to Life thing.
Yeah.
But you can actually get everything just digitally.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have the physical components. And that was a key thing that they left out. I remember it wasn't until like an interview with one of the designers that information came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they introduced the whole Star Fox crossover thing, which is when people started paying attention.
But my lesson now is, give Ubisoft the benefit of the doubt. They're definitely treating Switch as a unique and different platform. So some of the games where they're leading with Switch, I think they deserve some credit.
so long as
they're
they're
dungeon,
leveraging
yeah.
that
This
relationship,
is
they're
really
doing
cool.
it well.
They're
yeah.
2 for 2 on pleasant surprises now.
It's
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
they're not porting like Rayman 1, right? Or
Right.
Saints Row 3.
Well, I mean, they also
they're
are porting
doing new
Rayman,
stuff.
but they're also giving us like
Yeah.
incentive to like. I love the idea that Ubisoft and Nintendo have partnered to do things that are sort of outside of Nintendo's wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
Like they're bringing us Rabbids, Mario and Rabbids, which is great because we have a strategy game like Fire Emblem, but that's sort of niche. Like Mario plus Rabbids is maybe a different appeal or a different audience, right? And then you've got something like this, like. Obviously, we've experimented with Star Fox in the past, and it's been mixed results, even coming from a developer like Platinum. So it's nice to see Ubisoft take a crack at it and really nail it. I'm totally sold on this game.
Yep.
Whereas before, it was like, oh, I might check that out when it comes out. Now I'm in it to win it with this. Like I really, really enjoyed my time with this game, and I will play a Star Fox, and I will pretend that it's a Star Fox
And
game.
I will buy the little toy. I don't know if that
Okay.
surprised you or.
Not at all. But I'm also interested. So yesterday was the first time I got to play it, and they had the setup of, the ship, the customizable ship, and I thought it was cool, like that you could pop things off. But it was also a little annoying because to change, enemies have different types. There's fire types, ice types, whatever. They all have weaknesses, and so when you pop things off in mid gameplay, it pauses the game and allows you to swap things out, which is nice. But it's also like, well. Couldn't I just do that in a menu? Like, I don't know.
And you can.
And I
Right?
can.
I mean, it's optional, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
Cool.
Really dug it. Moving on, we also played Diablo 3.
Which was a weird demo.
And
Yeah,
again, we didn't bring Sydney because Sydney was working while we were playing.
Yeah, I
which,
hope you guys had
We're
fun.
sorry.
We were
Did you play
slacking.
Diablo 3 before? Like,
No,
not
I didn't.
not
No.
Diablo
No.
fan.
Well, have
wasn't
I got a
into it.
plan for you? Diablo 3 on Nintendo Switch because guess what? That sure is Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they dropped us into a demo where were we level 70 or something?
Yeah.
Like, so we were
Too high.
completely maxed out. Every character had like the insane
We had all of our
attacks. and
abilities. Everything was
My
maxed out,
necromancer
yeah.
had like 8
50
skeletons follow
skeletons.
it.
Yeah.
Like,
We were just spamming the hell out of everything.
it was pretty packed on the screen. It ran nicely, so
Yeah.
it didn't slow down. It's not like the what you're seeing kind of polygon and environment wise is up to snuff with modern games, but it ran really smoothly. We played wireless link.
Yeah, no lag, no
3-player,
nothing.
no lag. It was quick, and best of all, when you go into your menus and you're an annoying player who keeps on equipping every single thing you find, the other player can keep on going. They're not tethered to your screen. They're not paused. So all that stuff is happening independently.
Sounds to me like maybe you've spent some time playing Diablo 3 with your kids.
Yes. They are, like same with games like Borderlands. You'll always have that one person on the party who like spends way too much time at the
Looking at the
vending
loot.
machines.
Hey,
yeah.
that wasn't me. I was going around
But that's-
lasering zombies.
Tina
Come
was
on
that person
now.
in Borderlands.
This
for
game
sure.
is going to be killer on an airplane with friends, or you're waiting in line at a movie theater because you can just pop in with your characters.
I will say
and-
everything seemed incredibly small. Maybe it's my eyes, but it was very tiny when I was
is,
squinting
yeah.
at it. Yeah.
Hmm.
You didn't
And-
feel that way? Just me?
I don't know. I had trouble. We also played Smash, and not unlike Smash, I kind of had trouble keeping track of what exactly was going on and where I was. So
But
So
it's
you-
even like your icons are difficult to see, or any of the text saying
It's
like
Joy-Con.
what you're. No.
I think she means limits.
no, I got your icons. Yeah, I got it.
So
it was a joke.
I think
It
the
was a
issue
bad
in
one.
this case, again, we were maxed out and we had all the most devastating effects, and we kind of stuck together too. So you can spread apart a little bit more within each dungeon.
Yeah, we were like
I had
tackling
fun.
different quadrants for a while
Yeah.
there. It was good teamwork.
No,
Yeah.
no fault of the game itself. I just kind of forgot how to play Diablo. So I had a bit of a tough time. I died a couple of times. Tina was getting angry with me. She said I was no good at the game.
You died once.
I died
and
like
then we
I died like
abandoned the
4
game.
times.
Oh, really?
And then
wow.
I died 0 times.
I
the
died
big
0
thing,
times.
The big thing about this game, obviously, is the loot drop system, right? Like being able to get cool new upgrades, equip them, go back out, farm some of that stuff. And when you're doing a demo at an event like this, that just doesn't happen. Like you don't care about anything you find, so some of that game loop is removed.
Yeah, you don't get that progression, that feeling
But
towards
yeah,
that.
if you've never played Diablo, it's an incredibly addicting experience when you're playing with friends.
It's basically just another excuse to play.
Yep.
Now on Switch, or will be.
Will be. Yeah, it comes out later this year. But we
We'll
want
play
to
it.
talk about games. We want to talk about games that are already out.
Yes.
Early on Gamescom, I think it was during the keynote, they announced that Morphe's Law was coming to Switch. It was one of those kind of like, and you can play it right now sort
Yeah.
of things.
So
Morphe's
nice.
Law is a game that we saw in an early Nintendo Indie showcase, and kind of caught our attention for sure because it's so weird. But you've been playing it, and I wanted
have.
you to tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so Morphe's Law, it is a shooter, which I like, but it really like flips it on its head as far as when you're shooting, you are shooting to kill, sort of, but that's very secondary. Like the winning team isn't the team with the most number of kills. You're actually building the team avatars, so it's whoever's avatar is bigger at the end of the timer. I don't remember what the time limit is. It might be like 10 minutes.
It's like that like game when you go to the carnivals and you're just shooting a water gun into like a big thing. that's
Yeah,
filling up.
yeah. But so everywhere, so if you shoot an opponent's like leg, then your legs are getting bigger and theirs are getting smaller. But the way that the maps are designed is as you get bigger and technically that would mean you're winning, you can't always get to different areas because like
You're too big to get through
You're too big
now,
to get
yeah.
through, yeah. So it has a really interesting way of balancing skill in the game, which I am like very absurdly bad at this game. Maybe I'm just bad at Switch. I don't know. I'm not good at this at all. But it is a lot of fun to play, which is saying something because I don't like being bad at things, but I am still playing it.
And you can kind of add insult to injury by like making somebody's head really tiny and like like you can see that
Yeah.
in the video if you're
I
watching.
wish the final round was just the 2 big avatars battling it out.
Right?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be great. Well, and there's one map that the 2 avatars are on either side, and as one gets bigger, it tips the map, so the map is actually moving as
That's pretty cool.
the game progresses. So I really, really like it. I think it's super innovative, and there is tilt control similar to Splatoon, which I turned off immediately.
Yeah,
Yep.
same. Yeah.
Yep.
But if you
Sounds
like
about right.
that, you
I
can
like it.
play like that. So, well,
Yeah.
you can turn it on.
It's whatever you get used to. Honestly, if you play Splatoon, you should play it with tilt control. It's just better.
Okay.
It's not an opinion.
Hot
It's a fact.
It's a hot take. Okay.
No, but I want to try this. I mean, this game looks really weird to me, where I'm like, I think the concept is so intriguing, I just can't tell whether it's actually fun. You know, just kind of watching it, it's funny to look at. But I'm
Yeah.
curious to see how that gameplay element figures into play, because that's like when you're that big, you're like such a huge target for everybody. Is that still, can it be frustrating or is it fun?
You
I
just gotta be a
haven't
better
gotten
player.
that big because I'm not good. Hi.
There you go.
I'm pretty consistently small.
All right,
so.
all right, yeah.
Morphe's Law not out now, not on the show floor. But there were a lot of other indies that we got to see yesterday when we were wandering around
Yeah.
the show floor.
Played a
Tina, you
bunch.
specifically wanted to talk a little bit about the Gardens Between, and
Yeah.
you wrote like just so many notes here.
Well, so I didn't play it at Gamescom. I played it at PAX.
We're supposed to say that.
But it's at Gamescom, which counts. You didn't tell me that. So it's an interesting game because it's like a really poetic kind of puzzle kind of platforming game. So basically you have a lantern and you have a friend and you're trying to get lights in your lantern and it helps you progress. So you can fast forward and rewind to get to different platforms. That's the basic like gameplay aspect of it. But around each environment there are these like giant objects, so it's kind of very dreamlike levels. So there'll be like a Game Boy somewhere, some kind of like MP3 player, something like that. And all these objects are supposed to be representative of moments that you shared with your friend, things that brought you together. So the whole idea of the game is that you're just kind of exploring friendship and fast forwarding and rewinding through memories, and it's the kind of way that we connect with memories by kind of going over them in our heads back and forth. So it's just like really beautiful and pretty, and I like the whole concept behind it.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
really
got a
does.
really cool
Yeah,
art
definitely
style.
caught my eye. There were a couple of indie games that I thought were visually really impressive. Like this was one. There was the Unruly Heroes game. We unfortunately people kept on hogging it. We
Yeah.
didn't get to play it, but it looks like a really pretty kind of Rayman style
Yeah,
side
that was
scroller.
the platformer that you and I were watching. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
That was really nice. Tina decided to play a whole bunch of indie games that take a very long time to play.
Yeah, there was one called Night Call
Yes.
that was also really. I mean, there's just a difference between like a good game and a good game to demo, and that is not a good game to demo. Night Call is basically you're this taxi driver and you're trying to
Narrative-driven
figure.
game.
Yeah, it's a narrative-driven game, and you're trying to figure out who's the serial killer that's going around. I believe Paris.
Yep.
And so you're going through and picking up different passengers and you're talking to them. And at the end of your shift, you go home and you have this big like detective board where you put everyone that you've met. And there are 3 potential murderers per game, 75 full characters. Everyone's game has a different murderer. So it's just an exploration of dialogue essentially. But it's such a difficult game to demo because like I talked to 3 people and then was like, all right, had some conversations. There's some weird people with some weird drama going on,
Yeah.
which connects to the whole like cab driver experience. If you've ever talked to your cabbie.
It looked intriguing to me, just
No?
the art style and the concept of it. But yeah, that's like the
like a very
type of game
noir style.
I'd never want to play at an
Yeah.
an event.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
a good game to demo.
Yeah, I feel like there's a very definite line between games that have good demos at something like this, at a trade show like this, and games that just aren't built to be demoed in this environment.
Yeah, how do you
and it's
vertical
especially
slice
hard.
this?
Like, there's not only that, but it's like it's especially hard because we're American Press at a German show. And it's like when I was doing my Starlink demo, everything was in German, all the prompts are in German, and I was fine with that. I had somebody that was,
Yeah.
kind of telling me, okay, this is how you do this. This is, kind of walking me through it. But I did hear some people ask, like, well, can you reset it to English? Like, I'd like to play in English. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, I don't know. That seems like a bit of an ask. And demos, I think, are tough to begin with. And so especially something as like a sort of out of the box and artistic as Night
Yeah,
Call.
there's
I
too
could
much
see.
depth to it to be
Yeah.
able to get anything out of like
Yeah.
a 10-minute demo.
Yeah, obviously there are a bunch of strategy games, like turn-based strategy games are never a great demo.
Yeah, slower games like that. For
But
sure.
I'll try and go back and play some of the other indies on display. But I did get to play Wonder Boy, for example.
No, you got
Monster
to play
Boy.
Monster
I got
Boy.
to play Monster Boy.
Yeah.
I did play
Wonder Boy was
Yeah, I was
last
going to
year.
say, we've all got to play Wonder Boy.
Yeah, and that's an easier game to jump into. It's a platformer with this kind of beautiful hand-drawn art style, and in the demo you could play as 2 of the characters.
a little
one,
snack.
One is this frog guy who has the ability to use his tongue to like latch onto things and swing, like kind of Castlevania style, like whip stuff from the 16-bit days. You can actually swing between these different poles, and it's really fun. I mean, it's a clever little platformer with a lot of puzzle elements. Like for example, your sword can freeze water, and you can create yourself little platforms and ascend a waterfall. There's multiple playable characters. But I did really like what I saw so far. It's just really vibrant, beautiful. Again, like I want to call it Rayman style, but like that kind of whimsical art style.
It's got, like, to me, it's like a Saturday morning cartoon
Yeah.
aesthetic.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah, and crazy big bosses. If you're watching this footage here, you can see that they're playing a lot with rotation as well. Again, going back to some of the 16-bit Mode 7 based games, you can just kind of solve puzzles by moving the screen and latching onto things.
Was
with
there
the tongue.
2-player in this game? I forget. Is that
I
Or was
didn't
it one of the
I
other
didn't
ones?
get to try it.
I think it's really interesting that you can switch characters on the fly. I think it opens up a lot of
Yep.
possibility for some
Get
really
your little
cool
wheel.
puzzles.
Yep.
The ability to move through environments in different ways, like we just saw the frogman, like jumping up through, like using environmental stuff to latch onto, and then foregoing all of that, turning into a dragon and just shooting straight upwards. Like, I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so I got a little sliver of that. Unfortunately, they didn't have I couldn't hear audio with that one, but imagine it'll be a little easier to time your attacks and your jumps when you get the audio cues. But it was fun to play. Looking forward to it. Comes out in November, right?
Sure does.
Yes,
Yep.
November 6th.
Okay.
Yeah, I got lost here in
So
my
definitely
notes.
that one is on my list. And then what else did I get to play?
Looks like we got to play Everspace and Planet Alpha. So
I did. So Planet Alpha, I think.
That was
Yeah,
me.
I watched you play.
Oh, you're
Do you
right.
want to talk about Planet Alpha first?
We got
maybe?
Everspace on the screen.
Huh?
We got Everspace.
this is Everspace.
Okay.
Oh, this is Planet
No,
Alpha.
that's
No,
Planet
just kidding.
Alpha.
All right, just kidding. So yeah, Planet Alpha. It was really pretty. I think that's what drew me to it initially. It looks kind of like redundant. This is redundant to say, but like an indie No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
But it's
A side scroller No Man's Sky.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't get to see any of what we're seeing on screen right now. It was very like intro level stuff. So it was a little bit slow when I was playing because all I was doing was platforming and kind of exploring like all these really colorful creatures and these colorful environments. But they referenced it as kind of like Inside Limbo-like. So it's basically supposed to be a story that's played out through your environmental exploration of it. And I suppose that later in the line you get you get more abilities that you learn, and then everything is contingent on a day-night cycle. So certain of those abilities contribute to the day versus the night.
And there's a mystery, right? Like you crash land on a planet, and
Yeah.
I watch you just kind of navigate the environment at first, but then get into some kind of alien technology stuff, and so
Yeah.
then I guess the questions are, what the heck is going on here? And,
Exactly.
yeah.
So there's some like puzzle elements too. So towards the end, the most gamey that the demo got was towards the end when I saw like some kind of sun symbol and something around that, and you're supposed to line them up as you like rotate certain platforms. So there's puzzle elements in there. for
Not
sure.
like a high action dodge attacks game, more kind of like you jump, like more like Flashback or something
More
like that. You know,
exploration-based,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like that was kind of the vibe
Exploration.
But
I
there's
got
some
from it, too.
platforming
Yeah.
in there as well.
Planet Alpha is out September 4th. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. We got a couple more games that we wanted to talk about, but maybe we can put those in
We'll
the
bring 'em back, like
the link in
Everspace,
the
you know.
YouTube description, something like that.
Yeah.
We can figure that out. But guys, we are out of time. I wanted to thank you each for joining me today on stage, and I wanted to
you.
thank you for watching. Don't forget that NBC is IGN's Nintendo show, but we're not the only show on IGN. You can also check out Podcast Beyond, Game Scoop, Unlocked. What else we got? Fire Team Chat. So many shows over there. Keep in mind that we are usually Thursdays 3 p.m. Pacific time and Fridays 4 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube. This is a very special episode because we're all the way out here in Cologne.
And sleepy.
And sleepy. We are jet lagged a little bit. But thank you guys so much for watching. Keep it right here. Next week we'll be back with more Nintendo news that you can use, and we'll see you then. Pear?
Get the thing.